Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Ask AVA. This is the second video in my new series. I have just begun this series, and it's so exciting for me because I truly have a deep philosophical nature, so it allows me to explore ideas in ways that I'm not able to otherwise. And I appreciate your participation. Please send me your questions because, concerning metaphysics. I think metaphysics matters a great deal in our modern world. I appreciate your questions about metaphysics. Please send them to Grand Central Healing at gmail.com. Today, we have a very interesting question from a viewer named Ruchi, R-U-C-H-I, female. So let me read the question from Ruchi. Starting with the background of my question. Tarot, this is a question about tarot. Tarot is perceived differently in different countries. And while some countries perceive it as a spiritual and philosophical guidance, in many countries it is directly perceived as fortune-telling and witchy practices. I've studied the difference between the occult practices, fortune-telling, and tarot reading, but I would like to know from you, which is my question for you, what exactly is tarot, and how is it different from fortune-telling or predicting the future using astrology? Well, now there's a large question, but beautiful. So first of all, she says, tarot is perceived differently in different countries. In some countries it's spiritual philosophical guidance. In other countries it's perceived as fortune-telling and witchy practices. Witchy meaning evil. It certainly there was a backlash against the practice of fortune-telling, shall we say, predicting the future, that came about almost simultaneously with the revolution of the scientific philosophical point of view, where the conclusion is that the material world is all that there is, and that the psychic realms, the spiritual realms, are non-existent, or that if they do exist, they harbor monsters, evil, and even the ability to see in the future has been vilified. So, it's no wonder that you asked the question, Ruchi. I know many people. I've been reading for 30 years or more, who are afraid of the tarot. They're afraid of the ability to see into the future. And yet this ability, this need to see into the future is ancient. There's archaeological evidence that dates back to the very beginning of human activity that shows that they also were interested in delineating their future. So it's a part of our very heritage. But again, because we live in the scientific, it's almost a religion now, the scientific conception of reality, that everything happens as a consequence of randomness, shall we say, and that even our psyche, even thoughts, are just an epiphenomenon. That is, they are produced as a byproduct of mechanical processes. In this kind of paradigm, in this kind of world, in this kind of attitude, it's no wonder that in some countries the tarot is looked upon as witchy, as she says. Evil, really. Now, the question is, what is the tarot? How is it that the tarot can predict the future when simply a turn and shuffling of a deck of cards with some symbols on it? How can that in any way be coincident with anyone's specific future? How can it be oracular, like an oracle? How can it show you the future? A simple shuffling of the cards. Well, this has baffled people, the greatest minds, forever, how it can actually happen, but it does happen. But the magic of it, the wonder of it, is not in the tarot. The tarot is simply a combination of symbols that define various areas of human life and internal emotional, psychic realms, psychological realms. What happens when you read the tarot, when you look at them, is your mind is brought into a focus of attention, to a point where everything else on the outside considerations of the wanderings of the mind are left behind, and you are brought in through the symbols towards a state of meditation. And in this meditation, you then have access to invisible wisdom sources within yourself. And also telepathically within the querent, within the person that you are reading for. The person you're reading for, the one with the problem, the one with the question, the one who has come for some answers or some information about the future, already has within them the knowledge the higher wisdom, the solutions. And you, in the state of meditation that is provoked by the symbols on the cards, can then telepathically communicate and absorb the knowledge, the wisdom that they have about their own particular situation. And that querient need not be in front of you. I, as a tarot card reader, have read for people in China, in Africa, without being there. And yet, when I read the cards, there's an automatic telepathic connection that I feel, that I know exists. So what is the tarot? Tarot is just a very sophisticated, set of symbols which have been brought together on a card meant to point your mind in a particular direction psychically, so that you can look beyond the symbol being presented to you and feel the reality of either your own or the person's situation. Now, the tarot as opposed to astrology, well, which is a better predictive tool? So is one superior to the other? Astrology and tarot? No, they're not. They're different. Both are beautiful. The tarot, though, is something you can use, so it's so easy, so simple, so beautiful, and can be used for a small problem, a large problem, an emotional block, a sort of a, if you feel yourself in some sort of psychological trap, you can use it to even give you psychological guidance. And so now, today, you can get a deck of tarot cards at practically any bookshop. So they're readily available. And I really do recommend that you go out and get yourself a deck. Whatever kind of deck you'd like, but I happen to like the Weight Rider deck, but it doesn't matter. So I hope that helps, and we'll sum that up. Thank you, Ruchi, for your question. And if anyone else has some metaphysical matters to discuss, or you want me to discuss, please send that question to me at grandcentralhealing@gmail.com. And to support me, please, I do private and personal tarot readings, and they're available at grandcentralhealing.com. So thank you very much, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Please go to my website, grandcentralhealing.com, to purchase a private and personal reading. We have relationship readings, life path readings, and a burning question reading, or an emergency reading if it's absolutely imperative that you get your answer in 24 hours. Thank you.